about 2009, when I was around 14 years old, my dream guitar was a Gibson Les Paul Black Beauty. The Gibson Les Paul Custom, black with gold appointments, triple pickup guitar with a big speed, the one that Jimmy Page used on that live concert. That was my dream guitar as a 14-year-old with no money. And even though I wanted that specific guitar, when I found out that someone that I knew was selling an Epiphone Les Paul Custom, black and gold, I freaked out and had to have it. I saved up the very little money that I did have, and I purchased that Epiphone Les Paul Custom, the one that you saw me play at the beginning of this video. And I loved it. It was my pride and joy. It was the number one guitar for me. I just was obsessed with it. I love it so much. But over the couple of years that followed that, things kind of changed a little bit for me for whatever reason. First thing that happened was the guitar itself had a headstock break actually twice and was repaired, glued back together on both occasions, and worked fine. And I also started kind of falling in love with Fender guitars, especially Strats. I borrowed a Strat for a while, a really cool old Japanese Strat that was amazing. And I borrowed that for years and years and years. And I also, a couple of years later, fell in love with the Gretsch White Falcon, and that kind of became the next dream guitar for me, which I saved up and bought at about 16 years of age. And meanwhile, the Epiphone Les Paul kind of was sent into early retirement, unfortunately. And for probably 10 years, the Les Paul kind of sat in its case or was sitting on a stand and got used every now and then, but really wasn't used anywhere near enough over those years. But recently, I've kind of fallen in love with it again. And I've discovered it in kind of new ways. I've made some changes to the guitar, and it's really inspired me to play it more. And I kind of wanted to make this video just to talk about the changes that I made on the guitar, the things that I swapped out and changed, and I guess how, I don't know, rediscovering an old guitar that you might have is a really cool thing to do. And it's kind of, I don't know, stopped some current itches that I've had to get new guitars, but actually inspired me to play something that I already owned but wasn't playing before. Just with a couple of minor changes, it's really inspired me to pick it up again, and I've really been enjoying playing it. I've been practicing with it, I've been picking it up just to jam on it, and I've been recording with it more. And just a quick heads up, this video is, I guess, sponsored by Mr Glyn's pickups. I'm making this video myself, completely on my own, but he did send me the pickups that are currently in this Epiphone Les Paul so that I could check them out and make a video. So just a heads up with that. This is my own video, my own thoughts, but the pickups were sent to me for free, which I really appreciate. And it's really one of the things, and kind of the main thing, the first thing, the initial thing that inspired me, and I guess was the catalyst to me making this guitar more enjoyable again and picking it up again and playing it again. So I've made 4 changes to this guitar over the last couple of months, 2 of them being quite significant and 2 of them being very insignificant, but for whatever reason inspires me a lot and has made me pick it up a lot more than you'd think from the simple things that they are. The first thing, and very insignificant, is the knobs on the guitar. So when I got the guitar, it came with just a regular Epiphone black kind of circular boxy looking knobs, and there was nothing wrong with them at all. But I found these at the guitar shop that I work at, these sort of gold witch hat sort of knobs, and I thought they looked sick, and so I put it on the guitar, and I love it. I think it looks great, and it's awesome. And again, it's very insignificant being knobs. It doesn't have any effect on the tone whatsoever, but it looks cool. And when a guitar looks cool, you're going to pick it up more and you're going to play it more. That's just what happens. The other insignificant thing is the strap buttons. So these, I don't know if you can see that, but these are just very regular standard strap buttons. For years, I had strap locks on it. I put them on as a teenage kid, so I wouldn't drop it or whatever, but I hated having to have one end on the strap to always clip in. I ended up losing them and I couldn't stand up with a guitar, and it was frustrating. And just the other week, I finally put some regular strap buttons on it, and I love it. I pick it up more, I stand up with it. It's epic. So those 2 things are incredibly insignificant, but have actually made quite a large impact on my love for this guitar, as silly as that might seem. It's affected me, and it's affected my enjoyment of playing it in actually quite a large way. The third thing is the nut. I actually changed the nut on this guitar. So for years, it's had really bad tuning problems, and it's been one of the main reasons why I haven't been playing it over the last couple of years, is that it just won't flip and stay in tune. It's been really frustrating, and I know Les Pauls tend to go out of tune a little bit more than guitars like Strats and Tellys and things like that, just with the headstock being on an angle. But I just thought, man, this is not normal. So I grabbed a brand new bone nut and I put it on the guitar and I fit it on, and honestly, it's fixed like probably 80 or 90% of the tuning problems that I was having before. I'm yet to play it for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks on end since changing the nut to see really how much it's helped, but so far it's helped massively. And I can play some solos and do lots of bends and the guitar's not going out of tune, which is amazing. So that's change number 3, which has, done worlds for me and my love for this guitar. And the final thing, and by far the most important thing and the most significant change that I've made to this guitar, is swapping out the pickups. It definitely was a big thing for me. Was I'd plug it in and I'd play it and it would kind of feel too bright sometimes, but it'd also feel way too muddy. The neck pickup was the stock Epiphone, PAF style thing, and the bridge pickup was actually a Gibson burst bucker, I believe. So an Epiphone pickup in the neck and a Gibson pickup in the bridge. And for whatever reason, just didn't gel with the way that I played and the tones that I was going for. So let's talk about the pickups that are in this guitar now, and the main reason why I'm picking it up more and more, and I'm using it, I'm recording with it, I'm practicing with it, and I'm enjoying it more than I really ever have. The pickups are Mr Glyn Integrity PAFs. So these pickups are, as I said, the Mr Glyn Integrity PAFs. So they're his take on the vintage PAF sound. So I know over his years and years of repairing guitars, he's had heaps of great vintage examples in his workshop, and he's kind of based these pickups on those. Actually, I want to show you the packaging because it's really cool. So Mr Glyn's pickups, they come in this cardboard box, and when you open it up, there's another bit of sort of thick wrapping paper kind of thing, and the pickups are in there. I think he doesn't use any sort of plastic or anything like that, which is really cool. So it's environmentally friendly, which is always a plus. He's actually got quite a funny video of him on his YouTube channel actually eating his packaging, just to prove that it's all environmentally friendly and no plastics or anything like that. When I got the pickups, they actually shipped with 2 little treble bleed circuits, which I don't think I've ever had in any of my guitars. And one thing that I've been doing with this guitar that I don't really do with any of my other guitars is actually been mucking around with the volumes and the tone controls. And I know it seems ridiculous, but I'm a flat out kind of guy. Every single guitar that I have, I just crank everything all the time. When I roll back on certain guitars, I lose on my top end, and I personally don't like that. And so I just leave everything wide open. But I've been rolling stuff back, cleaning things up. The top end stays. It's really, really nice. And when you roll the tone back, it just kind of gets rid of that high top end without kind of making the pickup sound too muddy, which is fantastic. They clean up really well, and that top end kind of stays due to those treble bleed circuits. You obviously don't have to put those on if you're not into those, but they do ship with the pickups themselves, which I wasn't expecting, and has actually been epic for me. But these pickups sound sweet. They're really, really nice. I haven't had a lot of experience with vintage examples of PAF, so I can't really compare them to, does it sound like a burst or anything like that. But I've got an Epiphone Les Paul made in Korea or China or something, It's a fine guitar. It feels great. And with a really good set of pickups like I've put in here now, the Mr Glyn Integrity PAFs, it sounds sick. It sounds really, really good. I hope this doesn't sound too much like an advertisement, even though it kind of is. But genuinely, I really, really like them. I'm keeping them in my guitar. Absolutely. There's no way I'm going to go back to the ones that were in it before. Not that they were bad, but they just weren't for me. But these are a lot more for me. And the combination of these new pickups, the nut, the knobs, and the strap buttons has really just kind of helped me to rediscover this guitar and to fall in love with it. So even though Mr Glyn asked me to make a video about these epic pickups, it is also a video just about, I guess, how I fell in love with this guitar again and rediscovered an old guitar that was just sort of lying dormant and wasn't really getting used. And hopefully this video might inspire you and encourage you to do the same thing. If you have an old guitar that at its core is great but might need a setup, get it set up. Might need some new pickups, change the pick guard, kind of change the aesthetic of the guitar. Just do something to it that will inspire you to pick it up more, because now I have a great sounding Les Paul that I love playing, to add to tracks that I'm working on, to just give me a different playing experience when I want that. And when you have a different playing experience, you play differently, you come up with new ideas, you're more creative. So maybe rather than buying a new guitar, if you've got an old guitar that actually is pretty good, it just might need a little bit of work, might need a little bit of inspiration, might need to spice it up a little bit, go and do that, because I did that with this guitar and I'm stoked on it. So yeah, I just want to thank Mr Glyn for sending me these pickups. Thanks to you guys as well for watching. I really appreciate it if you made it this far. Be sure to go and check out Mr Glyn's pickups. An incredible pickup maker in Auckland. He does everything, you know, P90s, humbuckers, lots of different Strat and Taylor style pickups, Filtertrons, stuff like that. So go and check him out at mrglynspickups.com. I'll have a link in the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe. That really helps sort of grow the channel. I really want this channel to grow because I want to put more time into it. I want to make more videos. And you liking, subscribing, and commenting makes a massive difference. It's like a click for you and a lot more for me. So I really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe and comment. I want to know from you guys, have you had a guitar that you've done something like this to, or has this inspired you to maybe go and do something similar? Let me know in the comments if you have any stories like this, because there's probably lots of guitars out there that aren't getting used that probably need to be used. So yeah, I'd love to hear from you guys. Thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one.